9500 coming back at you. That dipshit's gone. The sweeper guy's gone, thank God. You know what I did? I moved way up to the other end of the parking lot. That fucker come right back up to the other end of that parking lot. That's you fucking dumb son of a bitch. Moved back down here, he did it again. I took off, went to another parking lot. Yeah, he's playing games. Another dipshit. That's how they operate. Just how they operate. Yep. You better believe it. Okay. Okay, got both phones working. Great. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. See if it'll shut off. See if it'll do some fucking bullshit. What you got to go through. I have a hard time with these live streams now. I think it's my phone. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's always something. I'll tell you what. Something just to aggravate me. Like the street sweeper guy. You know, I shut the live stream off, moved way up the other. Like I just said, up the other end, way away from him. Hundreds and hundreds of feet away. That fucker drove all the way down there, that sweeper. I drove back down here. What a fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. That's all I can say. What a fucking idiot. Hey, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah, I don't know. Cookie Monster, thanks for coming in. Welcome to the stream. Monster coming in from Mountain View, California. Thanks for coming in from Mountain View. But you know, and the problem is, like I say, you can't tell if the guy's come or not to do the live stream. I don't like being around while he's here because they're just idiots. And like I said, I keep my van pretty clean. I don't need a bunch of dirt and dust all over it. And they don't give a fuck, and they're just dumb. And you don't know when he's coming. Could be 9 o'clock at night, or it could be 4 o'clock in the morning. When I want to do a live stream somewhere in there, that's when he could show up. And he got that fucking sweeper thing on. I hate that fucking son of a bitch. Kick the dirt up about fucking 60 feet in the air. Son of a bitch. And it's dumb people. Ain't that the landscaping guys or the guys painting the fucking lines on the parking lots? It's something. Can't live in peace. There's no peace to live in. You know? I should just buy a piece of property somewhere, put my van on it, and call it good. That's what I should do. Fuck these motherfuckers. Move around so much. Every day I move around. Move. I get sick of moving around. Moving around. Yeah? They get away from these fucking idiots. The landscaping guys, I know when they show up. I got that all figured out. But these fucking other motherfuckers, you don't know when they're coming. You don't know. Don't even try to figure it out because you'll never figure it out. I don't know what hours they get. How can somebody show up at the parking lot at 9 o'clock at night one night, 12 o'clock at night one night he shows up, next night it's 3 o'clock in the morning? I never see anything like it. Weirdest fucking hours I've ever seen. And, you know, there's something to aggravate me, you know? That's all they try to do, these fuckers. You know, I move away from him, and then he moves back up there. Well, he just went up and did that part up there. So I moved up there. And then he moved back up there. Fucking imagine that. How dumb can you be? I don't know. I don't know, man. Oh, get sick of it. Sick of this fucking shit. And some parking lots in the area that I'm in, they don't show up at all. There's one parking lot. It's a big fucking parking lot. And that sweeper guy, you might see him twice a month. Twice out of a month. In a month's time. I'm not kidding. In a month's time, you might see him twice. Every night goes by, he don't show up. I don't know what the deal is up there. It's a different deal there. But there's no internet service there that's good enough to do a live stream. Otherwise, I'd be there. You gotta be right next to a fucking building somewhere where there's good internet. But anyways, I figured I'd come back. Other than that, everything's been alright. Like I said, the generator's been running good. The generator's been running pretty decent. I'm pretty surprised. How, it's running really good. It's pretty good on fuel too. Like I said, I ran it over 6 hours. Like 6 hours and 15 minutes. And it was still running. The tank was over on empty, but there was still fuel in the tank. Because I checked the fuel tank. And it was still running the air conditioner. That's pretty good. But it does have a bigger tank. The tank is almost 1.5 gallons. So it's not a gallon or anything. It does have a bigger gas tank. But more runtime, And that's good. So instead of filling it up 3 times a day, I only have to fill it up twice a day. That's better yet. Fill it up full and then go a good 6 hours. Do it again. Go a good 6 hours, you're good to go. I might buy another one of these generators. I might buy another Predator 2500. Then I'll have the option of paralleling them together and having 5,000 watts and 4,000 running watts. I might buy another one. I'm thinking about it. They're only $629, and then you buy the extended warranty. It comes out to $800. It's not bad. I don't know. There's a lot of lurkers. They come in here just to lurk. A lot of them have been blocked on my channel, Cookie Monster. I blocked a lot of them because they're just idiots. And some of them just like to come in and lurk. It's kind of weird hours because I have to escape street sweeper guys and other people. And then I got other stuff I'm doing, going to the gym and, washing my laundry. And I got all kinds of things I got to do. It's always something. Yeah, thumbs up are appreciated. This channel's been going a long time. Like I said, I've been on YouTube now for probably 9 years. And this is where we're at 9 years later. So, same old thing, It's the same old thing. But anyways, I'm still here, so I guess that's good. It could be worse. It could be worse. So yeah. But like I was saying, if I bought a pair to put my van on it, it might be better. It might be a better option. But I've been thinking about it. I've been looking around. But kind of expensive to buy a piece of land that's decent, I want something that's right off a blacktop highway. And it's not a wetland. And it's probably 1 to 2 acres would be enough. And a nice concrete pad to park my van on. Something like that would be nice, But something like that is hard, hard to find at a decent price, Some people want over $100,000 or something like that, So, maybe someday. Maybe someday. Even if it didn't have electricity, I still have my generator. And it would be a place to park. Instead of these fucking parking lots. Parking lots would be alright if you didn't have all these idiots around. That's the problem. It's the problem. Nice blacktop. That's good to park on. Good blacktop level. But you got the idiots around that fuck it up. You're always moving around. I don't like moving around once in a while, but every day after day after day after day after day, it gets tiring after a while. Yeah. You followed me since the early days? Well, you've been following me for a while then. Because I was back in 2016, 2017. I was around all them years. You know. Transparent 415, thanks for coming in. Welcome to the stream. I appreciate the like. I appreciate the likes. I had to leave because of the street sweeper guy. But he's gone now. You know, I'm fucking around. He's gone. I'm back. So, I'll be on for a little while. Just figured I'd stop by, you know. And like I say, this van has actually been pretty good to me, you know. I've said it many times, you know. Living in this van has actually been pretty good. Because if you think about it, the money that I would have had to spend for an apartment would have been way over $70,000, $80,000. You know? $1,000 a month for 12 months is $12,000. There's apartments out there that cost that and more. And more. And I only paid $10,000 for this whole van. So the whole van that I'm living in, I only paid $10,000 for it. So 1 year's rent would be more than what I paid for this van. Just imagine that. Staying in an apartment for 1 year is more than what I paid for this van. More than what I paid for the whole van. Imagine that. George, thanks for coming in. Welcome to the stream. 1 year, I mean, that's realistically right now. You could easily pay $1,000 a month rent. Easy. There's a lot of places out there, and some of them more than that. But let's just say $1,000 a month. This van only cost $10,000. I paid $10,000 for it. 1 year's rent is more than what I paid for the van. So I've been living in this thing. I've been living in a van since October of 2015. That's when I started out. I started out in October of 2015 with the first van, which is basically the same as this one. That's 10 years almost. Almost 10 years now. 10 years. Times $12,000 a year. That's over $100,000 that I would have had to pay out in rent. Over $100,000. And my van is paid for. What I put into it is something that I put into my own, that I'm fixing for myself. You know, the money that I put in this van is something that I own, not some landlord. You know? Yeah. Bam, just like that. You know it, Cookie Monster. And a lot of people get into this van life, and they only last 1 or 2 years. They come on, they got all the fancy cameras, they got the GoPros, they make their videos look all fancy. But you know what? They only last 1 or 2 years, and then they go belly up. I've been in this business since October of 2015. I'm still going. I've been up and down the East Coast. We're going back down the East Coast when it comes to October. You fucking better believe it. As long as I'm alive and breathing, we're out of here. We're going back somewhere, in Louisiana or somewhere. And everybody's saying, oh, he's never gonna, these fucking idiots on YouTube, oh, he's never gonna go back on the road again. Well, they got a big surprise party coming for him. They got a big surprise party coming for him. That's a 9000 series. You better believe it. As long as I'm breathing, we're going back down the East Coast. We're going to be back in Georgia, Louisiana, Florida. You better believe it. Joni Portwood, thanks for coming back to the live stream. Sorry I had to cut it out, Joni, but the street sweeper guy was being an idiot. So we go to another parking lot. Let's see. You save tens of... It's on your van and trying to avoid the garages that saves you money. Otherwise, you'd have to pay out, I think they get about $140 to $180 an hour to work on your vehicle. And then they charge you more for the parts. That's another thing I've saved money on. You know? And then I've saved money on gasoline by getting it for free. Going to food pantries. Going to soup kitchens, food pantries. Free gasoline, free water, free ice. Okay? That's how I did it. Because it takes a lot of money to live. I've done it the cheapest. And the cheapest way you could get by. You know? And some things I do have to pay for, like lint rollers, blue gloves, blue shop towels, cans of compressed air, toothpaste, different stuff. You know? I do buy, but a lot of stuff I don't buy. And it has to be that way because I don't have like, you know, so you could spend $2,000 or $3,000 a month living in a van. Go out to eat every night, pay for all the gasoline, pay for everything. Easily do it. There are so many fake newbies on YouTube, but coach, yeah, there's a lot of fake ones. They get up here and they've only been living in a van for 1 or 2 years, and they start talking just a bunch of bullshit. You know? And sometimes it's where they live, too. Who wants to sit out in a desert living in a van? Just think about that. Who would want to live in Phoenix, Arizona in July? I mean, are you retarded? Some people just stay out there. It's dumb. I wouldn't want to be out there anyways. And there's nothing in Quartzside neither. That's all bullshit. I never want to go to Quartzside. I never want to go to any of them places. The only parts of the West I'd want to see is Northern California, Oregon, and Washington State. You know, places like that where there's trees and rivers and stuff. But these other places, why would you want to live in a desert? Yeah, it might be free to live there, but it's nothing there. That's why it's there. You always want to be somewhere where there's green grass, trees standing, rivers, places like that. That's where a person that had any common sense would live. Not out in some desert somewhere where there's nothing. Far as you can see is dust flying through the air. Who would want to live in a place like that? I don't. I know I don't. I wouldn't take the land if you give it to me. Because there's nothing there. You know? There's so much in the Midwest that you could live. Parts of Missouri. There's parts of Indiana. I mean, chunks of land that you wouldn't believe. Big chunks of land. If you didn't want to live on the East Coast, you don't have to go out west. There's part in the Midwest. The Midwest has got a lot of beautiful land. It really does. Parts of it does. You know? But I pretty much stay on the East Coast because it's quite a stretch of land for me to travel from Massachusetts to Florida. There's a lot of land there. Virginia's a big state. North Carolina's a big state. You know? There are states I got to go through. South Carolina. You know? There's a lot that I travel just being on the East Coast. I like the Midwest. I like parts of the Midwest. I like to get out there more. But I'm usually tied up along the East Coast. Let's see. How has the country changed in 10 years? You've been living in a van dwelling. Are more people doing it? Yeah, there's more people doing it. There is. There's more people living in minivans and cars and campers. You know, it has gone up, believe it or not. It hasn't gone down, it's gone up. Homeless has gone up too. People living in the woods and stuff. All that has increased. You know? People, you can believe what you want to believe. But I see it. I'm out here in these parking lots. I'm out here in these streets every day. I see it. The homeless has gone up. You know, it's not getting better. You know, I wish it was. I wish it was, but it's not. But it's not. That's the reality. You know, people are having a hard time. You know, those people that got those $300,000-$400,000 houses and those 2 new cars in the driveway, they're only like 1 or 2 paychecks from living in the street. That's right. 1 or 2 paychecks just living in the street. What if they get sick or they get hurt, and they're not going to be able to pay all them bills? People, they don't own all that stuff. You know, what I've got, I own. What I've got, I own. I do have to pay insurance, and I do have to pay some bills, but some people have to come up with $2,000 or $3,000 a month just to pay their bills. That's not eating. That's not food to eat. That's just you know. So I don't want to get into that kind of a situation. I never want to work your whole life and you got nothing, barely, in my opinion. But some people, that's the way they do it, and I think I'd rather still live in the van than have a bunch of bills and have a job that's not promised. You're not promised that job. Your boss could fire you tomorrow and say, I'm closing up my business. We don't need you anymore. That's all I got to say. You see what happens then. You know? All this stuff has happened that I'm telling you in the past. People have lost everything they had, and they're living in the street. They've had the $400,000 houses. They've had the brand new cars. And some of them got nothing. Sometimes tornadoes come through and floods come through. Those $300,000 to $400,000 houses are all smashed to the ground. Or all full of water. You know? So, it's a crazy world that we live in. But you try to be minimalistically as you can. Because you don't need all that stuff. I mean, it's nice to have it if you've got a lot of money and you know you can replace it. A lot of people can't replace if something happens, they can't replace it. If their house gets wiped out by a tornado or some natural disaster, they can't replace that. They can't replace it. You know? With the van, I can turn the key, have my Weather Channel app, which I got my Weather Channel app, know that there's bad weather coming. Get out of Dodge. Get out of Dodge. With their situation, they can't move because their house is permanent. You know? And I have watched it. Yeah, Joni's alright. Joni's alright. She does food review videos, and she does work on her camper, on her truck camper, different stuff like that. Alright. But yeah, it's a tough world. It really is. And it takes a lot of money to live. And you know, you can make it, but I mean, it's tough. It's tough sometimes. Let's just see if I can turn this camera around. Guess we've seen enough of the parking lot, right? There we go. Yeah, it's tough. Because it's always something that, that's comes up that's costing you money. You know, whether it's a starter on your van, or you have to buy new tires, or ball joints, or an exhaust system. It's always something. You know, it's always something. But most of it I can fix myself and save money on the parts by buying them at like AutoZone or, you know, Advance or somewhere. But and that's the thing. The more mechanically inclined that you are, the more knowledge you've got. Living in a van or living in a car or a minivan is going to help you. It's going to help you. Because if you have to pay for every little thing at a garage, it's going to cost you more money to be out here. It's going to cost you 10 and 10. It's going to cost you more money to be out here. They charge anywhere from $140 to $180 an hour at like Firestone, Monroe, these big garages. They charge big money. And they charge more for the fucking parts. They charge, for instance, like a start there, cut out. It just started cutting out. I don't know why. But they would probably charge you about $200 for the starter for some reason. They charge more for the parts as well, which is not good. And like I say, I don't know. That's why I try to learn as much as I can, figure out as much stuff as I can to work on this thing myself. Which I've done quite a bit. Then there's the other side to it, the camper side to it. You ain't just got the mechanical side, you got the camper side, the plumbing, the electrical, and you got to know knowledge about that. I fixed a lot of plumbing in this van. Some of those pipes leak. I had to fix all those pipes. You know? I didn't have a lot. There's a few leaks I fixed. One was by the hot water heater, which was leaking. I had to put a new fitting on it. And one was the right by the elbow of the PVC pipe. It's like I think it's called PVC pipe. It's a great pipe. I fixed that too. To get another elbow. And I put new faucets in, stuff like that. You know, it's always something like that. But a lot of times it's not a hard fix, it's easy. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not so easy. But I've had easy fixes, I've had hard fixes. But I'll usually figure it out and get it fixed. I'm going to switch to my real account, transparent 415. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this guy's been following me for a while. I know who you are. But I didn't know you had an account called Cookie Monster. But anyways. I stocked up, like I was trying to tell you guys, I stocked up on some raviolis because I got a good deal. And I was able to get 2 cases for $24, which is a good deal. I don't eat ravioli every day, but if I want to have some food in my van or, you know, some raviolis, they were 99 cents a can times 24 cans, which came to like 24 bucks, which was a good deal. And nowadays it's a good deal. Because like I was telling you guys, I buy the big 40-ounce cans just the other day. Just a few days ago. $3.99 a can for the 40-ounce. I went back into that same store. They had it all restocked with the 40-ounce cans. Because I've been buying them. $4.49. they charge more for them. There was dust on the top of those cans, the ones I was buying. Took a blue shop towel with a wet rag and wiped them all down before I opened them. Now that they started selling them, they charged 50 cents more a can. And they took the small cans and charged 99 cents a can. 15-ounce can, they charged 99 cents. Figure that one out. This is the kind of stuff that you do in these stores. That's another thing. Another thing they do, if it's something you really like and you start buying it from their store quite frequently, they'll stop selling it. They've done that before too. I've had that trouble. I don't figure these people out. You know? There was some body wash I used to buy all the time at Walmart. It was called Snake Pill by Axe. Axe body wash. And it was called Snake Pill. Well, they used to sell it for the longest time. Really good stuff. One day I go in there. I bought it for 3 or 4 years. They didn't sell it no more. Not that type. You got to buy a different type. So I stopped buying it. Now I'm back buying Irish Spring body wash. Because they did that deliberately. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff they do. I used to go in there and buy 5, 6, 7 of them. I did it for about 3, 4 years. Then they stopped selling that type. They sell what they want to sell. And you know what I did? I didn't buy it from them anymore. I went back to Irish Spring. Idiots. Just dumb people you got to deal with. You tell the manager or you get somebody down there, well, they don't know. They don't know. So. But I'm happy with the generator so far. I really do think that the generator, the Predator 2500, is going to be a great generator. You know, I'm the first one. I'm the first one on YouTube that posted a video of the new generator. Because that generator's only been on the shelves for a week now. That's only been out for like 7 or 8 days. And I was the first one to make a video and post it on YouTube about that generator. Now watch as a year goes by how many videos come up of that generator. The Predator 2500. Let a year go by. You'll see how many videos come up. But I was the first one, because there ain't no videos out there, as far as I know, on that generator. It just came out. And I was the first one to put a video up about it. The first one. Imagine that. But you watch as the year goes by from now, there'll be a bunch of videos of that generator. People talking about it. Well, I may buy another one. I'm thinking about buying another one and just have it with me. And then I got the option of paralleling them together for 4,000 running watts. I've seen bars of Irish Spring soap, $3 Stop and Shop here in Connecticut. But yeah, I don't buy the bar soap. I buy the liquid. It's liquid soap. It's a liquid body wash. I got some in the back. It's not the bar soap. I don't buy the bar soap. This is what I buy now. Right here. This one here is the one I usually buy. I got my 2 cases of raviolis here for stock up food. What the hell is this? Well, I got some more in there too, don't I? Boy, this is heavy too. Chef Boar ID. Look at this. 2 cases of them right there. 2 big cases. Right there. All stocked up. I couldn't go wrong. 99 cents a can. You can't go wrong for that price. You take 3 cans is 45 ounces, right? 3 cans is 45 ounces. One of the big cans I was buying is 40 ounces, and it's $4.49. So, you do the math. You do the math. Pretty easy to figure out. By buying the big can, I'd be paying $1.50 more. So I'm not going to do that. But, you know, most of the time I eat at the soup kitchen. But if I want some food, or if I just want something to eat, and I can warm it up on my stove, or I can eat it cold out of the can, I've got something. I've got some canned goods with me, you know. It's always good to have some food for... I don't eat it every day. I could, but I eat other stuff. But I got something, instead of having nothing in the van, you know, I got a little something to back me up, so, which is good. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to stock up on food and have it in the van because I've got so many tools in here. Tools have taken over the whole thing. I have to get rid of my tools, and I'm not doing that. You know. What's great about Coates is he always true and real. Yeah, that's the thing, you know. Some people are just fakes and phonies, you know, but I'm the real deal. You know, when I tell you something, that's what it's going to be. But, you know, basically, I mean, I've got everything I need with me in the van. The van is my home, and I've got basically everything for myself that I need. You know, if you got food, you got water, you've got all kinds of tools with you. You got gas cans, you've got generators, top vacs. I've got a lot of stuff, you know. So when I need it, I've got it, you know. I mean, a generator is a big deal. Living in a van like I'm living in, having a decent generator is a big deal. I think this one's going to pan out good. If it doesn't, it will go back. And if I have to take this one that I bought from Harbor Freight Tool back, you can bet your life that I'll have a Honda. But I think this one's going to be okay. It runs really good. It sounds good every day. I've changed the oil in it like 3 times. I'm going to do another change tomorrow. Because when you're breaking in the engine, those Chinese generators, especially, there's a lot of like fragments in the oil. The first 2 or 3 oil changes, as you do more oil changes, it gets better. But you got to run the motor. The Hondas don't have that so bad. But it's going to be okay. There's a lot of great reviews on the Predators. It'll never replace a Honda. I will always say the Honda's the best. But if these work out, and I've got a warranty for a full year, I bought an extended warranty that I paid extra for. Anything happens to that, it's going back, and they know it. I had it all explained out to me by the guy working there. If I pay you $160 extra, that guarantee covers everything for 1 year. That's what he said. If a rubber foot breaks off the bottom, if the panel won't stay on the side of it, if the switch where you turn it off and on breaks off, I get another generator. You better believe it. Let's see here. Yeah, I've never tried that one, Joni. I've heard about them. There's so many of them out there. I think it's going to be hard for me to say that anybody's going to beat the Honda. Man, I had good luck. I'd still be running that if that fucker didn't steal it from me. That fucking thief didn't steal it from me. It'd still be running today. And that generator had a lot of hours on it. I personally put on at least 6,000 hours on that generator. Personally, myself. Yeah. You know? But, you know, that's what happens. People see you got anything, they steal from you. They always sneak around and try to steal what you literally got. That's the kind of people you deal with out here. But it's all good. I got another one, so it's going to be alright. It'll be nice to get back on the road again and head back down south. And I'm going to check out that new Buc-ee's in Georgia. They just built that new Buc-ee's. Just opened in July. So if I get down there in November, it's going to be new still. You guys get to go to Buc-ee's with me? How about that? Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. I think one of the most friendliest places for RVers is Southeast Georgia. They were really friendly to me down there in Southeast Georgia. And Louisiana, too. And, you know, compared to some places, like I've told you before, some places are just not friendly. They're really not. And New York's one of them. And all those states. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the difference in the people. It really is. And I'm not saying everyone in the South is great. There's bad people there too. But you notice the difference in the people overall, you know, just by being out there and seeing everything. You know. But I can't wait to get out of here, really. I tell you, I've been here a long time. It seems like a long time anyways. Just get back on the road. You know. Once you get out of Pennsylvania, things start feeling better. When you're traveling on the road, when you're going out Interstate 84 and you get to Scranton, you're up on that mountain. Once you leave Scranton, Pennsylvania, and you stead down 81, once you get down to like Maryland and then into Virginia, it's a better feeling. Once you get into Virginia, it's pretty good. Because then you know you're going to make it down 95, you know, and that, so, alright. Are you in, no, I'm not in Stamford, Connecticut, no. I'm in Connecticut, but I'm not there. I'm not in that part. But, and like I say, if you're going to be up here in the Northeast, Connecticut's probably the best one. I mean, out of these states around here. Rhode Island, I hear, is not that friendly. I know Massachusetts sucks. I don't know about the other ones. I mean, New York sucks too. I've been out there. You know, the worst roads I've ever seen in my life is in the state of New York. The absolute worst. Massachusetts right there beside them. But the absolute worst roads to drive on in the United States that I've seen is New York. They have the worst fucking roads I've ever seen. All the money that state brings in. George Washington Bridge, all the tolls they've got, and they got the worst fucking roads. You know who's got the best roads I've ever seen? The state of Florida. You go on Florida roads, and you go on New York roads, and you'll notice the difference. That fucking state is I don't know, man. They just, holes, there's freaking holes in the roads that deep. Going out 84. I was like, man, I can't wait to get out of here. They ain't left in my van. Awful. They had to fix all that shit. They don't fix nothing. You know what they do? They put most of that money in their pocket. The taxpayers pay a lot of money in New York. And they got shitty fucking roads. I wouldn't live in that state. It's because the people they got running it. Like that Governor Hochul. Another knucklehead. She's awful. She is awful. And these people, I tell you, I mean, I don't know how the people get voted in to be these governors. I don't know how they get voted in. I think they're crooked. I don't think the people are really voting them in. I think they're rigging the votes, and they're getting in crooked. And nobody in their right mind in New York would want her in there. I'm serious, dead serious. Or that one in Massachusetts. God, two governors right there that are horrible. Massachusetts and New York. God, and they're both women, and they're both horrible. You want to see a great governor? You want the 9000 series to tell you who a great governor is? Governor Brian Kemp in the state of Georgia. He is smarter than both of them two put together. If you took the governor in New York and the governor in Massachusetts, you put them together, Governor Brian Kemp is way smarter than them. Much smarter and a much better governor. You know? It's these dummies up here. It's unbelievable. And Governor Greg Abbott in Texas, smart guy. You know? That people have got common sense. Like DeSantis in Florida. Governor DeSantis. He's smart too. There's a crew that's really good. And there's a crew that's really bad. I watch the news all the time. I see what goes on. In these states, I mean, they're just dumb as a box of rocks. I mean, you know, New York has had so many problems over the years. And look at the people you got running it. Look at these people. Look at the mayor in New York City. What a joke he is. I don't know how they get reelected. I really don't. Only thing I can think of is they're crooked. They rig the votes, and they get in there crooked. Worst I've ever seen in my life. And it shows. It shows in their state. It shows in how they act. And it really does. That's why I say the red states are, God, they're way smarter than the blue states. They're just dumb. You know, and I hear Minnesota's really bad too. God. That's what's really hurting the country. If they were all smart, like the state of Georgia, or, you know, Texas, or Florida, we'd be way ahead. But you got these states dragging, in the United States, you got these states dragging on the country. Like New York and Massachusetts, and Minnesota, and there's a few. California's another big one. You know. Look at that governor out there in California. What a joke he is too. Governor Newsom. Man. Look at it. Just look how much things cost out there. Look all those people's houses that burned down. And then he couldn't get the water to them to put the fires out. He took all the water and sent it out to the Pacific Ocean. What a dummy. Man, I wouldn't live out there. I'm just sorry. The only good part of the state is the northern part of the state. But it's idiots running it. But at least you got some trees and you got some, forest land and stuff like that. But that guy is something, man. I don't know how he gets in either. I guess they're all crooks, so that's the only thing I can think of. But, man, I must be glad to get away from here for a while. Get back down south. Smarter people, better people to deal with, and they're smarter people, and, Like, you know what the Governor DeSantis says? If you come in our stores, our big box stores, and you steal, you're going to jail. That's what the governor in Florida said. We're not going to lock up our toothpaste. We're not going to lock up our shaving cream. We're going to have to get somebody to... You come in our stores and you steal, you're going to jail. That's where you're going. And he let it be known. Now up here, you have to get somebody to unlock the fucking shit. One time I went into Walmart, and I stood there, and I pressed the button, nobody come. I said, why the fuck? I didn't even get this fucking stuff. I can't even get the stuff I need. It's all locked up. Nobody come. I had to walk all the way to the register, get somebody. I said, I've been standing down there for 15 minutes. Nobody comes. Pain in the ass. But, it's down in Florida, you don't do that. You just walk in the store and pick it up off the shelf and pay for it. But here they lock it up because of the idiots that ruined it, but, But they don't put them in jail, they let them steal. But down in Florida, you go down and steal, you go to jail. So they don't want to steal down there. They're more strict, which it should be. I don't like a thief. I don't like any of them motherfuckers. All they do is ruin it for everybody else. When you have to go in the store and it has to be locks on everything, it's because these people ruin it. And Florida says we're not putting locks on our stuff. We just go in there, and if you steal, you go to jail. About that. And you get a criminal record. A lot of these blue states, they let them steal. But now they're locking it up, but, let's see. I agree, San Francisco, homeless, almost everyone who goes to San Francisco. Yeah, it's bad out there. Oakland, San Francisco, the theft is bad. It's really bad out there. They had a lot of trouble in San Francisco, people stealing bikes. People go down to the coffee shop with their bicycle in San Francisco, get a coffee, come out and their fucking bike is gone. They had a lot of bike thieves in San Francisco. They got some of them. Because they put those Apple AirTag, they're like a little chip about the size of your thumbnail, on the bikes, and they found a lot of them bikes and the thieves that stole them. A lot of trouble out there with theft. Which is terrible. But you got to be strict. You got to be tough on thieves. If you're not tough on them, they'll keep doing it. If you let it go by and let them do it, they're going to keep doing it. If you start putting them in jail and giving them felonies, they might think twice. They keep it up. Because they won't have to worry about stealing. They'll have a life career in prison. And it's not just a thing. If they go in these stores and steal, and I've told you guys this before, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, they've got insurance for that. But when the insurance goes up for Home Depot, Walmart, Lowe's, then they're going to pass it on to the consumer. So the price of your toothpaste will go up $1, 50 cents. 50 cents or $1. because of these fucking idiots. Because when the insurance goes up, they're going to pass it on to the consumer, the one that don't steal. So I got to go pay more for it because of them. I talked to two Chinese Cisco 2 days ago and keep telling me. Yeah, San Francisco is bad. I wouldn't want to live there. I mean, I'm just saying. It's really bad. A lot of homeless, and I guess now they're trying to clean up the homeless, according to Donald Trump. They're trying to make sweeps and clean them up, you know, and find places for these people to live. You know, a lot of people are sleeping on the street, sleeping in a cardboard box, right beside somebody's business. You walk into somebody's coffee shop, you got 3 or 4 people sleeping right beside your door. You know, that ruins business. You know, it ruins the business. But people doing that. People ain't gonna want to go in there to see all these people around. But you know, it's not getting better though. It's not. It's getting worse. It's not. The problem is, the only way you ever solve homelessness is housing. Housing solves homelessness. But the problem is, there's not enough housing, and there's not enough affordable housing. So there's not enough housing to start with, and there's not enough affordable housing. Especially California. You know? And it's never gonna change. It's never gonna change because people can't afford to pay for it. People can't afford to pay $3,000 or $4,000 a month for an apartment in San Francisco. People can't even get it. You know? So it'll always be a problem. I don't care what Donald Trump says or anybody says. Unless they're going to build a lot of houses, big facility buildings for these people to live. Where are they going to live? You know? I live in my van, and I'm happy doing that because I wouldn't have enough money to pay all that. The common person in the United States don't have all that money. So, and they know it. They know what the problem is. They know what the problem is. And they're not fixing the problem because where are you going to put all these people? Okay, there's a lot of homeless people. Where are you putting them all? In jail? I mean, where are you going to put them all? There's tens and tens of thousands of people. Where are they going? Move them to another town, another city? I don't know. It's out of control, and it's getting worse. Yeah, I know. I agree with you. I agree with you, Transparent 450. It is getting worse. If you go back to statistics from the year 2000, go back to year 2000 to 2025, it's gone up. The scale's gone up. It ain't going down. It's going up. 2000 to 2025 is going right up. That's a fact. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Where do all these people live? Now let's get out of California. Stop talking about California. All these people in North Carolina, Missouri, where all these natural disasters, I don't hear no more about this on the news. Those people that lost their houses from tornadoes in North Carolina, all those big floods, where are those people living now? It smashed all their houses down in the floods in North Carolina and Missouri. You don't hear no more about that. Are they living on their property and no house? I don't know. Because I don't hear no more about that. You got to wonder. You hear about when it happens and how bad it was. But then you don't hear about what happened. Did they get a new house? What happened, you know? Some of those places out in the Midwest, it leveled them flat to the ground. Those tornadoes have got a lot of strength, and it took out a lot of houses. In North Carolina, up in the mountains, like all those floods, it ruined their houses. Where are they living? I don't know where the fuck they're living. I mean, I don't think they rebuilt all those houses back. Just saying. You know, that's the thing, you know, being somewhere on a permanent property, if you don't have insurance, you're screwed. And a lot of people, we know a lot of those people up in the mountains in North Carolina didn't have that insurance to pay for all that. A lot of them didn't even have insurance, so they didn't get nothing. And they cut back on FEMA. FEMA's way cut back. FEMA wasn't even helping them people. I don't know. That's why I say it's, you know, if you don't have money to keep a house going and the insurance and stuff on it, you better not have one, because anything could happen. Anything could happen. And the people that are going to be all right is the people that got money for the insurance, you know, that are cover it for them. But the ones that don't have that, then they're out. They are out. And I guarantee you, a lot of them people didn't have insurance, and they're out. I mean, how do you build back? Let's just say they owed the bank money. Now, what if you owed the bank $250,000, $220,000, and then a tornado or a flood wipes your house out? What do you do then? Do you still pay the bank the mortgage payment, or do you not pay the bank? How does that work? How does that work? Because I know a lot of people didn't own them houses. They were making payments, paying on those houses. You know? I sure in the hell wouldn't pay for it. I mean, I tell the bank, I was like, I ain't got nowhere to live now. So I pay you a mortgage payment and there's no house standing? I don't know. You know, a lot of problems in the world. And now with Russia, I mean, Trump was getting along with Putin. Now he's not getting along with the Russian president. I watched that too. All they'd have to do is send a nuclear missile our way, and it could do a lot of damage in New York or Boston or Houston, Texas, or Miami. They've got the capabilities of doing that, but we do too. And, you know, Trump thinks he's a big shot, but you know what? If they press a button over there, they might stop some of the missiles, but they would never stop them all. Russia's got a lot of nuclear missiles. We do too. But, you know, nobody's going to win. You know? And it's all about that war in Ukraine. You know, Trump wants them to end it, but they don't want to end it. So, you know, here we go again. It could be World War III before we know it. You know, I wouldn't doubt it. You know. There's a lot of problems in the world. You know, better thank God we're just living here as we are living here. How you like some nuclear missiles coming your way? That would probably destroy most of the world if they do that. North Korea and China would side with Russia, not the United States. North Korea's got nuclear missiles. China's got nuclear missiles. And they would go with Russia, not us. Now France and Germany and France, Germany, Spain. I think a lot of countries would go with us, but some of them wouldn't. I know that. I don't know about India and all them people, but Yeah, I hear you, Transparent 415. But nobody'd win. They'd blow up the whole world, but nobody would win it. You know, nuclear, that stuff gets in the air. It kills all the trees. It kills all the plant life. The water's contaminated. And it ruins everything. Kills everything, ruins everything. And, you know, that's what you're playing with. When you go over there and tell Russia what to do, that's how it'll all start right there. You know? I don't know, man. It's a crazy world. We should just stay out of it. You know, why are we over there anyways telling these people what to do? I mean, yeah, we'd like the war to end for Ukraine, but don't go so far that we're gonna have to start a war with Russia over it. You know? That's what they don't think about. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking. You know? Because Putin, he doesn't care about Trump. If he wants to do something and Trump's telling him not to do it and he wants to do it, he's going to do what he wants to do. That Russian president is going to do what he wants to do, not what Trump tells him to do. Trump can't go over there and tell that guy what to do. I mean, he could tell him to stop the war, but if you don't stop it, then what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You know? And if we do something to them, they're going to retaliate right back. You know it. You know it. You know it. So, I think it's dumb. I think it's all just, you know, if we stayed in our own country, mind our business, would be better off. I know. But they don't do that, so. Yeah. The state parks are pretty nice, but they tend to cost money, but some of them are pretty reasonable. Like in Florida and Georgia, you can find them for $25 a night. And probably up here, more than that, probably 40, 50, 60 bucks a night. You know, 50, 60 bucks a night in the Northeast. Probably now. But some of these people, like I say, you just, if you live in a city like I live in, I live in a city area. I drive by the Holiday Inn Express. I drive by the Marriott. Those fucking parking lots are full almost every night. You wouldn't believe it. I should take my phone and just show you guys. The fucking parking lots are full of cars. Every night. And those rooms cost like $220 a night. Think about this. $220 for one night. Every night the fucking place is full. A Holiday Inn Express, Marriott's, Hilton. It's like, wow, where do these people get that money to do this? You know, you figure you take 100 people or 80 people paying $200 a night. Let's just say there's 80 people there. $200 a night. That's like $16,000 a night for all the people staying there. That's a lot of money. And I drive by these places all the time, and I look over, and sometimes take a walk late at night. I walk by the places, and I see it right full. The parking lot is full of fucking cars. It's like, wow. So not everybody's hurting for money. There's people out there that obviously got it, or something. Credit cards or something. But, I haven't seen a night yet. Even on a weeknight, they're busy. So they're still doing, the big hotels are still doing pretty good business. At least here in Connecticut. They're doing a pretty good business still. And I'm surprised because I didn't think they'd be doing that good. Not with every way the economy is, everything, you know. But they are, so. Let's see here. Quotes, Putin wants to Russia and has to stop. The West is playing foolish, just like they played. Yeah, I know it. The guy's nobody to play with. He's crazy. Just like that guy in North Korea. And, hey, get them people mad. They start sending missiles, and it's going to be a bad situation. You know? And people are crazy. They're communist countries, and like I said, they got nuclear missiles that can reach the United States. Russia's got missiles that can reach the United States. I think North Korea does too, but I don't know. But I know Russia does. I know China does. Them are the kind of people you don't want to get mad at you. I mean, I guess I just lost you. My live stream's starting to cut out. I don't know why. This phone's cut off. Let me come back. My live stream's starting to cut in and out. The service is getting lousy again. But I wouldn't want to mess with those people. And I'm not saying that the United States is weak, because we're not weak. But nuclear missiles blow up everything. You know? I don't know if he realizes that or not, but if you get them mad, they start sending missiles, and hey, there goes New York. There goes Chicago. Blown to pieces, you know? Anything like that could happen. I'm not saying it ever would, but you don't know. I mean, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen every day. You know? But that's the bigger picture that we should be looking at. But I mean, Trump thinks he's a big shot. He's not. I mean, those other countries got money. They don't need his money, and they don't need him telling them what to do. You know? I don't think Putin likes Trump telling him what to do. You know? And that guy's got plenty of money. Their country is rich in oil. The Russians have got a lot of oil. They sell a lot of oil to India, different countries. And that's how they're keeping the war going, basically. The Ukraine war going, because they got money to do it. They got resources, you know, that brings in money. A lot of it. But we'll see what happens there. I don't know. Sometimes I don't like watching the news, because every time I turn the news on, it's not good news. It's usually bad. It's usually bad. I don't know, guys. I don't know, man. It's a crazy world. Only God knows when it's going to end. Someday it'll end. You believe me. I don't think it's going to be here forever. Some greedy person or something will happen and ruin it. Lucky we, you know. But that's about all I got to say. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for coming back in. Sorry I had to cut the live stream off short because of the sweeper guy. I don't like him around my van. But I did come back. And it was a pretty decent stream, like I said. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Peace out.